Hey, let's make another book video. Well, I'm gonna make it, you're gonna watch it. And never mind these, that's for another video. And trust me, it'll be a good one. Okay, the next book is the hardcover version of When Will Jesus Bring the Pork Chops by George Carlin. No pictures in this, just George Carlin stuff. And here is what it looks like opened up. Very, very good book. Okay, here is the hardcover copy of Mr. Know-It-All. What's it say here? The Tarnished Wisdom of a Filth Elder by John Waters. And does this have any pictures in it? There's one picture. Anyway, this is a very, very good book. Very funny to read because it was by John Waters. Okay. This one is the hard copy, but I don't have the little, I guess, protective sleeve. But this is, whoops. There's a CD thing sticking out. Anyway, this is 12 Days on the Road by Noel Monk and Jimmy Gutterman. And this is a documentary of the Sex Pistols' first tour of America. And this is what the hard copy of that book looks like. There's some pictures. This thing is one of the greatest reads ever. Okay, this is another hard copy, Living Dangerously. And this is the story of the guy who made the movie King Kong and all of his adventures. And this is about Marion C. Cooper and his adventure-filled life that led to him making King Kong. Along with a bunch of other movies. But King Kong was the standout. Okay, this is like part 2 of 2 books that just had pictures of punk flyers. And the first one, I had it, and I don't know where it is. I just don't know. I bought it many, many years ago. Over 20 years ago I bought it. I just don't know where it is. But this is the part 2, and this book is called Punk is Dead. Punk is Everything. This is the hardcover, and the covers are very thick. And it's just a bunch of punk flyers from punk shows from all around America. So if you're able to get your hands on a copy of this that's affordable, it's a fun look. It's not much reading, it's just looking. Okay, this is Ministry, Al Jorgensen, The Lost Gospels According to Al Jorgensen. And this one has got lots of pictures and lots of words. Anyway, this is also a very good read. The Al Jorgensen book. Okay, this is the No Effects, the Hepatitis Bathtub and Other Stories. And this one also, lots of pictures, lots of little stories from each member of the band. And this one is a superb read, extremely entertaining. Okay. This is High Hopes, the Amityville Murders by Gerard Sullivan and Harvey Arrowson. And man, that thing is sticking out. There we go. And this is also a really interesting read about the family who lived in the Amityville Horror House before it was the Amityville Horror House. And it shows Pictures of the murder location, and I won't tell you anything about this book. Look it up. You know, you don't have to pay $35 for the hardcover. The paperback is probably $1. But it's called High Hopes, the Amityville Murders, and it's really interesting. What happened in that house before the haunting is more entertaining than the haunting. Well, not so much entertaining, just interesting. A bunch of people getting killed isn't entertaining. Okay, this next book is MDC, a memoir from a damaged civilization by Dave Dictator. This one is extremely fun to read. And it's the lead singer of Millions of Dead Cops talking about his life in the punk scene. Okay, this one I just got. It's called the Herodical Rogerson. And this is about the original bass player from the Circle Jerks. And the first part of this one reads pretty good. And then it gets into his life after the Circle Jerks. And that is where I don't know, it's just not good. He becomes very, very uninteresting. The only interesting thing about this guy was when he was in the Circle Jerks. Outside of the Circle Jerks, this guy was kind of pathetic. But it wasn't, you know, it was like $5 for this thing, so it's worth $5. It's interesting to read the Circle Jerks part. Okay, here's another book by a member of the Circle Jerks. This is My Damage, Keith Morris. A story of the story of a punk rock survivor. And this thing is much better than the last book I showed you. See if there's any, oh, there's pictures. There's the full picture of the Circle Jerks Group Sex album cover. Guess that was taken at a skate park during some kind of weird wedding for this girl named Gerber. Anyway, this is really good. This is fun to read. And this member of the Circle Jerks, when he's not in the Circle Jerks, doesn't get boring and stupid. He just remains interesting. Okay, this is Bob Mould, See a Little Light, The Tale of Rage and Melody. And this book is actually from a library. What library is this from? It doesn't say, but it's a library book. And this one's very interesting to read. Let's see if there's a picture. There we go. And it never slows down, it never gets boring. So if you're into Husker Du or Bob Mould, this would be a good read for you. Okay, this next book is called In Heaven Everything is Fine, The Unsolved Life of Peter Ivers and the Lost History of New Wave Theater by Josh Frank and Charlie Buchholz. So this is about the guy who used to host the New Wave Theater, and his name was Peter Ivers, and he also made record albums that were kind of strange. And this is all about his life before, during, and after New Wave Theater. And this isn't very good. It's not written very good. It's not written in an interesting style at all. If you see this in hardback, don't pay a lot of money for it. It is not an interesting read, even though it's a book on a very interesting subject. I don't know how they pulled that off, but they managed to do it. You know what? Let's go get some more books. stack them up here. Okay, this one is called The Man from the Train, the Solving of a Century-Old Serial Killer Mystery. This thing, it's not written by Stephen King or John Grisham, but it's written good enough to keep you reading it. And it's about a guy that was running around at the turn of the century wiping out families with an axe throughout all of America, and they never caught him. So, The Man from the Train, Serial Killer Mystery by Bill James and Rachel McCarthy James. This is definitely worth buying. Go on Amazon, pick this up, and get ready to be confused and amazed at the same time. Okay, this is Talk Minus Action by Joe Keithy, an illustrated history of DOA. This one is autographed to Mona Blea. Bought this from Joey Keithy at a show. This one is tons of pictures. So if you're into DOA, this book is for you. And if you're not into DOA, you really should be. They're a wonderful band. They're just as good as the Circle Jerks, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag. And whenever they have a show, not a lot of people show up, and that's really too bad, because they're just as good as any of those other bands. This next book is the hardcover of A Long Hard Road Out of Hell, Marilyn Manson. This book is really well written because it was written by Neil Strauss, whoever he is. And it's the life and times of Marilyn Manson. And I don't know what to say about this other than it's a good book. Okay, here's something that I keep in this little package here, because this thing is hard to get. And this is a book about the Cramps, but I think it's written in French, so I can't read it because I'm not smart enough to know French or any other language really. But it's great for the pictures if you can find it. This one came from Spain. Some guy named Jose Carrera sent me this great book because I gave him some money. Let's put this back in its protective sleeve. Okay, let's get some more books. And these will be the last two. This one I bought at Powell's Books on Burnside in fabulous Portland, Oregon. Here's the little receipt. And I bought it directly from the author Camille Rose Garcia. And she's not the author of this, she did the drawings for it. And she also did the artwork for a couple of Jello Biafra records, which I brought one of the Jello Biafra records, and she autographed that for me too, and was very, very pleased that I had brought a Jello Biafra record for her to sign, because she's a big Jello Biafra fan. Hence, she did the artwork for a couple of album covers for the dude. And what this is, there's the autograph to Martin, and what this is her drawings to go along with the story of Snow White. And I wouldn't part with this for nothing. So, don't try to buy it. I'm not selling it. Actually, I'm not selling any of this stuff. When I die, you can come and rob me. Okay, so this book is worth picking up. It shouldn't be too expensive unless it was a limited edition. I don't know. I remember driving in the rain to Portland, Oregon, just to meet this woman and get her to sign the book. and buy a book from her and help her out financially. I'm sure she's not rich. Okay, the last book. This is The Making of King Kong. And this is a book all about the movie King Kong, how they made it from, you know, what they know. There was no filming going on in the, I guess, the little room where they did the puppets and moved them around in the stop motion. So if you like the movie King Kong, you'll love this book. There's a guy moving the little monkey up the side of the building. Or I guess gorilla, not monkey. And this one shouldn't be too hard to find, and a couple of $20 bills should get it for you. Oh, let's open this up. This is a big picture. Or not a picture, but a drawing. Okay. And that's it for the book thing. There's some more books to show, and there's some great new records I got to show, and those will be dealt with later. Okay, bye-bye.